While that is happening, then you guys can enter the cave.
She definitely made a scry spell so they could enjoy what was going on as we were approaching. Just, just for fun.
It's like an in-flight movie. You guys enter the cave. Again, the frogs can see a little bit better than you, but the cave eventually goes up and the water stops. So the cave, you come out of a pool, and now you are on dry land again, and you can see the end of the cave where there is light coming through. Are you guys going to continue with the wagon, or are you going to get off and run around on your own? You guys are further inland now, but before Gregor passed out, he also gave you a small little map of the actual island, and he pinpointed an area where he thinks your target may be located.
Shall we continue?
Seems fine to me, chap. Where's our, the other one who is dancing?
Oh, he's standing on top of the carriage. He's been up there for a while, so he's still doing the Macarena. He never said he stopped.
Are you coming, Kermit? Are you going to stay here and entertain the fish, I guess?
I mean, he can talk to the fish.
Can you talk to fish?
I do also have Aqua as well.
Amphibious.
Okay. So yes, if you wanted to sing the Macarena to fish, you could do that and they would understand you. But please,
I'm gonna call over a fish, just any random fish.
Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. So you stick your head down into the water and you basically just yell out in Aquan for any fish to come up to you. I'm going to roll a d20 to see what comes up to you. That's a 3. You get a very confused goldfish.
Fuck you.
The goldfish is still confused, and since it can also speak to you in Aquan to an extent, and it's a goldfish, it says it forgot why it came over here and then swims away.
Well, I did all I could.
Now you guys can leave the cave now that Cade's done talking to fish, and you do have an area where you could go.
All right.
Well, I rolled a 7 for dexterity to start doing the Macarena as well.
You do it, but you don't do it as well as Kane does it.
Very poorly.
I'm a killer, not a performer.
You look like a 45-year-old white dad.
I'm gonna start walking. What kind of area do I see?
You are outside, so the way that the island is kind of set up is there are compounds, and there's a wall around the entire island. So the compound that is marked is the one that's supposed to be for very important people. The one where the centipede is going around is kind of like where most of the forces are. It's where the moat is, the part that needs to be most defended normally. They're going to be preoccupied with that.
I'm gonna lean in Saira like, we can save the guy right now, or, hear me out, or we could try to gather some information about possible targets to attack, then save it.
Well, my immediate question is, what targets would a prison know? Because, OPSEC aside, wouldn't this be the last place you'd want to store information about your army? Because this is where people are going to come to save people, right? Unless they're retarded. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. This is pretty well fucking guarded. With all the mines and shit, I don't think they even have a clue that they were going to get attacked. So I'm pretty sure this is actually a pretty big garrison to where they would keep some kind of information.
The mines are indicative of them expecting attack, isn't it?
No, I believe that they didn't think there was going to be an attack. I think they fully planned out that the mines were going to stop anyone to come close.
All right, I suppose. I have no issue with it.
You and Kermit could go ahead. I could probably pull off and try to check somewhere.
As long as you don't go anywhere near where that Banshee scream is coming from.
I'm not going anywhere near the Banshee. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere near Banshee.
You go ahead, I suppose. Just be careful. Worst comes to worst, a little bit of wax in the ears if you can find a candle or something. That would definitely stop the Banshee wail. It's something that happens.
You by chance have another eye, another part of your body I could take with me? Oh, let me take your hand.
Well, I've got the hand, I've got the eyeball, I've got the teeth.
Let me take the hand.
Both of my
communicate.
feet.
Wait a minute. What did you replace your feet with?
Oh, they're very similar to the spider monsters.
Oh,
except instead of
You made your feet spiders?
Well, not spiders per se. They're closer to beetles. My hands are spiders. Well, the left one is. The right one's in the gauntlet. I have to keep that one.
I'll take the hand.
Do you like the teeth? Come on. She spits out 6 of them, and they're little tiny things.
I'm just gonna walk away with the hand.
Roll dexterity to snatch his hand away. Alright, well, you rolled a 20. It's one of those things you really don't want to touch it, so you're just trying to get this over with as quickly as possible. So you very quickly grab his hand and yank with all of your strength. It pops off, kind of like a Ken doll, and then you put the hand on your shoulder. It very quickly transforms into its spider form with its eyeball, and it stands on your shoulder and looks at you.
Alright, so that was inappropriate. I don't go around grabbing your body parts.
I'm just gonna start going towards. Can I do a spot check?
You do have several other complexes that are marked on the map, but if you want to see if there's anything in the general area, yes, you can do a spot check.
Okay,
You have
okay.
low light vision, so you can see. Okay, that's a 19. All right, so you do notice what appears to be maybe some sort of a field office or something along those lines. It's not a small building. It's a decent-sized building, but it's not as big as what the prison complexes are described as. So it looks like it's used for something different than housing prisoners. Kane and Arch are going to continue to the VIP prison, basically, while you go do that. So what I'm going to do is, because there's going to be some travel time involved, Arch, I'm going to say 30 minutes has passed by the time you guys each reach your targets, which means I'm going to roll 2 d20s to determine how many more Dragonborn have been added to your centipede. 19 more Dragonborn have been added to the centipede.
So it's essentially doubled in size.
Basically, yes. So 19 more have been added in the 30-minute sense, and they are still coming. They're starting to divert Dragonborn from other areas of the island. So this is only helping you the longer this goes on. I'm going to go with Cham first, and then after I'm done with him, then we'll go back to Arch and Kane. So Cham, you find this smaller building. You know, you're closer than Arch and Kane are to that front moat gate where the centipede is killing everybody. So they're diverting people from here first. So there are no guards on the outside of the building, at least none that you see.
I'm gonna do a search check. Before I do that, I'm gonna grab some of the dirt or whatever. I'm gonna start rubbing dirt on me so I'm not reflective.
I mean, you do also have the doppelganger infused armor, so it does help you anyway. But if you want to, then yes, you can do that for effect. You do that, and then you can roll your search check. Ooh, you rolled a 1. Okay. You don't see anything out of the ordinary.
I'm gonna stick myself on the wall. I'm gonna start climbing around and see if there's any kind of a grate or something some kind of opening.
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll a second search check. I will make you roll a climb check, and the higher the climb check, the more easily you'll be able to find something. Okay, 23. All right, so you find on the outside of the building what appears to be some kind of a ventilation system. It looks like it goes in from the outside. It's just a wooden grating that's on the outside, but it's something that you feel like you can definitely cut through it with your Darksaber, or you can maybe try and pull it off, but it is a way to enter the building.
I'll just use my Darksaber. It'll be easier and faster.
You cut through it very easily, and you cut a hole in it, kind of like Mission Impossible style, and then you go through the grate. You're in... It's made out of stone. It's a stone shaft that looks like it goes along the various hallways of the inside of the building. Again, this feels like some form of a ventilation system.
I'm gonna do a listen check where I'm currently at. As I'm walking, I'm gonna do listen check.
Okay.
And if I don't hear anything, I'm gonna cut a small little hole so I could see a little bit.
All right, do your listen check first. All right, 15. Okay. As you're walking along, you hear what sounds like 2 Dragonborn talking to each other, and their voices appear to be getting a little bit louder than normal talking. It feels like they might be kind of yelling at each other. You can make out the occasional word of something involving Dragonborn, undead, centipede. Also, Saira, you can hear all this, like everything that he can hear.
I'm gonna continue going around. I'm gonna try to find some documents.
Okay, so are you gonna drop down from the stone shafts into the regular area?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You're using the Darksaber to cut a hole in the shaft so that you can get down below, and you're trying to do it very daintily. But as you finish cutting the hole, you realize that you actually cut the hole around yourself. So you fall through the shaft because you're not ready for it, and you land on the ground with a very loud thud on your butt as the rock circle falls down below you. I'm going to roll to see if any of the Dragonborn notice this. The 2 that were arguing seem to have noticed, and you hear footsteps coming towards your area. I'm going to give you a reflex save to get out of there.
Well, what I was going to do, I was going to use a reflex. I'm going to on the wall as much as I can.
Yeah, so it's kind of shadowy in there anyway. So okay, so the doppelganger suit gives you +3, I think. Okay, so you're able to make it onto the wall before they're able to round the corner. That's well high enough to do that. I'm going to count the reflex roll as the hide roll as well. So they're going to have to both roll. So neither of them notice you. They come around the corner. You're kind of just up in the very corner of the room, kind of like Spider-Man. They can't see you at all.
Yeah.
You're just up in the shadow. And you're looking down on them. Like I said, you can see them since you have low light vision anyway. They come around the corner, and all they see is a smoldering circle of stone sitting on the ground, and then they look up and see the still glowing hole that is in the ceiling. So they know that something came in. They just don't know what. So they're both going to try and search around, but because they don't know where you are, you have advantage over both of them.
I'll let them pass.
So they move down the hallway, weapons drawn. They don't know where anything went. They know it didn't come the way they came, and the only other way down the hallway is the other direction. So they continue down looking for whatever came out.
So, since they're going the opposite way, I'm going to go the opposite way where they were at.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to roll for that because they've already gone around the corner, so I'm not going to make you roll for a move silently. All right, so you move in that direction, and as you move in that direction, you come to what looks like some sort of a ceremonial office. There's a door that looks like a relatively secure wooden door, and there are two flags on either side of the door on flagpoles. They're both Black Scale Order flags. There is nobody guarding the door, although it does appear that there are spots where two guards maybe could stand. Are you rolling a spot check?
Yeah, do I see anything in there?
You look under the door and you see what looks like a desk, a torch that's in the back, and you can also hear what sounds like scratching, kind of maybe like somebody using
like
a
pen
quill.
quill.
Yeah.
Like a quill.
Now that we've done that with you, before you get into this room, I'm going to go back to Kane and Saira.
Okay. I'm just gonna, we fade in on those two, and I'm like, oh yes, and we found this, shapeshifter, and we skinned him and turned him into armor, and that's the clothing that Curtis wears now.
So, Kane, you and Arch are there, so if you guys want to roll search checks to see what you see on the outside of the building, you can. Again, this building is a little farther away from the moat area where everything's going down right now with that centipede. So there are still guards around the building, but some of them have left to go try and help.
Let's go.
There you go. All right, so it looks like all the guards on the outside of the building have gone, except for two of them that are guarding the front entrance.
Are we gonna murder, or are we going to go in? What's the deal here? I'm gonna shake the frog. Listen to me! What are we doing? Why are you sneaking? Leaning over him.
Kane, you voted for violence. So whatever you guys want to do, you can do. Like I said, there are two guards on the outside of the complex currently.
Do you have any ideas, frog friend?
He wants to throw dirt at them.
You want to throw dirt. Quick point of reference, is the building they are in front of made of stone?
Yes.
Does stone count as earth?
Technically.
I would like to control earth and drop the front of the facade on them.
So what's going to happen is this. Kane, your character walks up to the front of the two of them and immediately throws dirt in both of their faces. They don't really know how to react to this. They begin being very angry, and just like that, two hands, stone hands, mind you, very large ones, come out of the side of the building. They then proceed to wind up and smack down on both of them, splattering them like insects on the ground. The hands then remain there, still and inanimate.
And she leans over it again. So how's that for throwing dirt at them?
His silence only confirms what you did was correct. So they're both dead, so there's nobody else on the outside of this, and they didn't have the chance to alert anybody because Kane just went up and threw dirt in their faces. So are you guys going to enter the building?
Yes, I think we will. We'll go ahead and enter the establishment.
In the time that took, I am going to say another half hour has passed outside of game, and I'm going to roll 2 more D20s to see how many more Dragonborn have been absorbed into the centipede. Okay, another 21 Dragonborn have been absorbed into the centipede. So that thing's just getting longer, and it keeps drawing more people out. So, Cham, I'm going to go back to you when we're going to finish up this little segment you're doing, looking for information before we go back to them.
All right, so I'm going to alter self.
To what?
So I'm going to make it look like I'm one of the guards.
One of the ones that you saw run past you, I assume. So that's a spell, so yes, you do that.
And I'm going to walk in.
You walk inside. As you walk in, you see what appears to be a Dragonborn wearing a rather ornate armor set, and he looks like he's looking over some paperwork. Along the front of the desk in Draconic is written Warden.
Which, I do know Draconic.
Yes, you do. That's why I said that. He appears to be scribbling down something very feverishly on a parchment.
So, does he see me walk in?
He notices you walk in, but he doesn't really acknowledge you. He's busy doing something.
So I got some bad news. But I'm going to say I'm Draconic.
And what other bad news do I need besides a potential monster attack?
He's on his way over here.
How many
Right.
more men did we send?
Does the Saira know how many,
Oh yeah, I can feel it every time, and she taps him out. Like, taps out the number.
Okay, so it went 11, 19, that's 30, 21, so it's 51 Dragonborn have been killed and added to the centipede. So
51, sir.
What? You! I want you to go immediately. Go to the weapons dump and get the artillery pieces. We will need them immediately.
Sir, is there anything else I need to know? You need to grab anything else?
More men.
Sir, I am quite in a panic as well right now. Well, I don't remember where it's at. Where do I need to go?
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's in the demolitions yard. It's right next to the building on the right. They're under some tarps.
Do you have a map?
Outside the building on the right, under the tarp. If you need a map, I need more men.
Got it, sir. And, I'm gonna wait until he puts his head down. And would that be an attack of opportunity?
It would be an attack of opportunity either way because he doesn't expect you to attack him. You look like one of his guards. Also, he still has his weapons sheathed. He hasn't taken anything out, so he's not ready for combat at the moment. You would get advantage in this scenario.
Oh, that's a crit.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, the second one will not hit. The first one will, which is your Darksaber. Well, it critted, so that's 18. This is how this goes, because this is an officer, so he's not like a beefy foot soldier. He's a little on the older side, so as soon as you decide to attack him, you lose the visage of the guard. But he has such little time to react that he just raises his head enough where your Darksaber impacts his neck. As you swing through, it appears that nothing happened until, frozen in place, you see his head slowly move to one side and then fall off and roll across the floor. His body then goes limp and falls to the ground.
Alright, I'm gonna grab as much documents as I can.
Okay, you're not going to look at him, you're just going to shove him in the bag of holding?
Yep.
Okay, you do that. There's no locks or anything on the desk, so you empty all the drawers. There's probably about a dozen pieces of parchment that are in there, including the one that he was writing on the desk. The one on the desk might be a little hard to read because some of his blood did get on it. Even though you cauterized the wound, the blow was so fast that there was a little bit of blood that got on it. But all the other ones are unstained. So you shove all those in there, and you've thoroughly cleaned out the office and killed the warden.
I'm gonna grab keys, and I'm gonna quickly search his body.
Yep, you can roll a search check. So you find the quill that was on him, that he was using to write. You also find what appears to be some form of a pass, like a pass parchment. It has a special Dragonborn seal on it. It looks like it's basically what they kind of use for security, sort of. It looks like maybe they carry it around. There's a little note scribbled on it, too. That basically says that this note is basically a security pass. The other thing that you do notice on him is he does have 200 gold.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw his sword into my bag. I'm going to grab his head.
Okay, so you throw the sword and the head in the bag, so that's all set.
I'm just going to use greater invisibility.
You do that. You are now invisible.
I'm going to walk right out and go to the area where you said the artillery pieces are at.
So you walk outside, you turn to the right, and you go over onto the side of the building. You see several things that are under tarps. Again, nobody can see you, and it looks like pretty much all the guards have left the building now to go fight the centipede.
So I look under the tarp.
You look under the tarp, and what you see appears to be a relatively decent-sized cannon, along with what appear to be artillery shells, not cannonballs, full shells that are loaded up in a pile next to it. So this is a bit more of a long-range piece.
Am I able to somehow shove this into my
No.
bag of the artillery shells?
You can put those in.
I'm going to shove the artillery shells in my bag.
So I'm going to say, because those things are pretty fucking heavy, you can load up 5 of them. All right, so you took those, you took the scrolls, you took the head, you took the sword, so you got all that shit.
You're not fucking. I'll head to where the rest of the gang are at.
Okay, you don't have to roll anything, so you're going to get there. So Arch, in the time it's taken him to get there, I'm going to say one more round has passed with your centipede, so I'm going to roll a d20 and see how many more have been added. I'm only going to roll 1 this time, though, because it's a shorter amount of time. All right, only 3, so it's only gotten 3 more.
I'm going to have it start to disengage. It's going to stick, like, around the port area, basically anywhere where it can't get hit by guns, because now that I know they're trying to use artillery on it.
He was going to use artillery, but there's nobody left there. They're going to have to come back and get it.
Yeah, but there might be somebody who thinks of it. There's going to be somebody who's not incompetent in this army.
Assuming they weren't assimilated with the first 54 people.